Hello, everyone. It is Wednesday, August 26th, 2020. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 18 of Bliss Point, a music curation and conversation podcast serving up music discussion, news, show and album reviews, and more. You can check us out at bliss.house, bliss.haus. Please check out the playlist that is going up on Spotify to coincide with this episode. There's a lot of good stuff on it there. We are about to get into. My name is Jordan Kaufman, and I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts, Billy Gatewood.
Hey there.
And Paul.
Hey there.
Hey there, everybody. Singles. Best singles we have ever heard. And mine is a real heater. Paul, I'm sorry it took me this long to actually listen to a Chika track. I know you had kind of been plugging her Tiny Desk concert for a long time. And she has a new track out called You Should. And I'm now not convinced that she can write a bad song. This is just a super sexy, excellent hip-hop / R&B melding. The production is fire. Chika's performance is killer. And she is fresh off a live cosign from Snoop Dogg. I think she was like streaming the other day, and Snoop Dogg called in and was like, hey, just a heads up, like, you're fucking great, and I love listening to your music. So she's fucking awesome, and I cannot wait for a full length from her, for sure. Billy.
Very cool. So, question. Do you like Block Party?
Yes.
Do you think NOVACUB kind of sounds like Block Party?
You know what? After hearing the guitars and stuff, I think so, yes.
Well, hey, that's probably because it's 50% Block Party.
Oh my god, is it fucking really?
Yeah, so the guitarist and the drummer from Block Party, but Luis, the awesome drummer that was playing for Block Party, and she also like toured with Selena Gomez. She's made a little cameo appearance in season 2 of Skins. She transitioned from drums to vocals.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, so that's her on vocals, which is just super cool, and I think that's why they're right off the bat like just so solid and just like your basic solid indie Brit pop. But yeah, if you're into that kind of stuff and you miss kind of that Block Party sound, this is pretty close, and it's like I said, it's really not too far from the tree as well.
I could totally see them carving out like a space for this sound again, because there's not many things that I can think of that sound very similar to this.
Right.
Kind of like, to me, it kind of sounds like if Muna kind of stripped back the 80s and went full emo.
Fair, yeah.
The emo, but like, you know what I mean? Like it's her vocals kind of lend itself to that kind of style. But
yeah, and I was shocked to hear that she was on vocals because I knew it was her, but the way the drums sound, like they sound like Block Party drums. So like I just thought it was her on drums again, but I was surprised to find out it was her on vocals.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome. That's really cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask Sarah, because I know she loves Block Party. So
nice.
She likes that. Shout outs. These are going to be the albums that may have just missed the cut for album of the week. Well, not so much.
Or for some of us, it is our album of the week.
Not so much in Billy's case. But I am actually very excited to talk about this album because I've wanted to talk to somebody about it since it came out. This is Washed Out's new record. It's called Purple Noon. If you're unfamiliar with Washed Out, very big chill wave artist, has kind of transitioned back and forth, or really kind of added more tools to his tool belt. So like his last record, Mr. Yellow, was on Stone's Throw, and had way more samples and like way more beat making kind of stuff to it. And this is kind of back to his like hazy psychedelic pop kind of, you know, chill wave influenced music. And I think this is probably his most pop forward record yet. It feels very much like he's trying to be a singer more than anything else. But the great thing is like the instrumentation is just so on point. Like he has such an ear for the production. Like I don't know how he gets everything to sound so good. And everything sounds so fucking sexy. Like I put it on, I was making dinner last night and I put it on, and Sarah and I's friend Zach was over, and he was like, "Are you trying to seduce me right now?" maybe. This album is very much that kind of vibe. But yeah, what did you guys think before we kind of get into my criticisms?
Well, I'm happy to hear you just talk about the production, because I was listening to it yesterday as well and kind of listening to it in detail. And I think that's something that I took for granted from him for a long time, is how intricate his production is and how he blends so many different sounds together, and he thinks about everything and the whole stereo imaging of sounds and stuff like that. Like, it just, his production is so good. And then on top of that, like you said, I feel like his vocals took more of a mainstream approach this time.
Yeah.
It's obviously not like lyrically impressive or anything like that, but you could tell melodically and kind of just emotively that he was kind of going for a more mainstream sound. And there was some times throughout the album that I was feeling like this could be way more accessible than some of his older stuff could be.
Yeah, and I really, I'm so glad that you brought up the stereo stuff, because I don't think there's another person that writes mainstream music that does that better than he does. Like, he just continues to bring up great ways to utilize both speakers. Like, it's not just everything, in center, or like one thing on the left and one thing on the right. Like, he does the transition between speakers so well, and it creates just such a cool effect.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't feel like overkill, or that he's just stacking a bunch of things on top of each other. Like, again, this is just another great textural experience. Like, there's just so many cool things going on. Yeah, I think my biggest complaint is that I kind of felt like he's just regressing in style. I was hoping he would kind of build more off of the Mr. Yellow stuff, because I loved that record so much and how sample based it was. And I realize, like you had said, it seems like he really wants to push for a more approachable sound. And I totally get that. I think he would sell so many records. And I think, I don't know, he seems pretty popular now. I don't think he's like underground or anything like that. So I'm kind of curious if this, does good numbers for him. But yeah, it's there's not much for me to complain about. Like, it's a solid vibing record, and there's like no bad moments on it. It's just a really enjoyable record through and through.
I was curious what you're going to say about it, because for me, it's always that question when an artist has been this established. It's kind of, we always attribute it to them going more mainstream, and maybe it's as simple as that. But at what point is it just the artist is softening and their sensibilities are changing as they get older and they're just in a different stage of life?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
the cab argument you guys always use.
Yeah,
I mean,
question.
Like, Too Late sounds like it would be the theme song to Portlandia if Portlandia was made in 2020. Like, it just sounds like a more mature version of like his old stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think
Portlandia 2020 would be a very different show.
Right?
Yeah. I think, the other thing that I was like, yeah, not really, like, it at the end of the day, it wasn't a huge deal because of how good the instrumentation was, but like, the lyrics are lame as fuck. Like,
oh yeah. No, I agree.
I feel like if you're gonna do, as long as he keeps doing solid instrumentation that like doesn't get boring over the course of a record, I think it's probably okay. And if this is his first effort really trying to be a singer over anything else, I'm going to give him a pass. Like, it's hard to write lyrics. I totally get that. So I'm curious to see what his like exploration and kind of experimentation goes from here, or if he'll just try to keep perfecting this, poppier style. So, all right. Albums of the week. Best albums we've heard all week. And mine, Miss Madeline Kenney, has a new record called Sucker's Lunch. And I have never heard of her before. Shout outs to Pitchfork for kind of letting me know that she exists. And I really enjoyed this record. I think she's got really good taste for production. I think this one, I know last episode I was kind of talking about how I was weighing this in Land of Talk, and I ended up swapping the two. But this, I think they both kind of remind me of Wye Oak. Land of Talk more so because that very similar kind of like ethos to their music. But Madeline Kenney has more of a like Angel Olsen or Faye Webster or maybe even Stella Donnelly kind of vibe. Her music is just a little more orchestrated, like a little more solo pop artist kind of feel to it. And it's a really fun record. Like I don't really have anything crazy to say about it. She's just got a really good ear for instrumentation. The drums are produced amazingly well. She's got really good guitar tones, and they're usually at the forefront. It's pretty active guitar, and it's like very languid and transitions very well between different parts of each song. I think Sucker is probably my favorite. It's got a great bass performance on it, and it's got those weird like, what's that Phoebe song that we didn't like at first because of the weird baritone vocals?
Oh yeah,
matches her vocals throughout the song. Uh-huh. A little weird,
but like good female baritone vocals.
Yeah, it's a strange kind of experience, but I really, really like the song. Billy, you said you enjoyed it a little bit?
Really? I did. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a whole lot more to add than what you said, but I did enjoy it quite a bit. I hadn't heard of her prior to this, so good find.
Yeah.
I didn't dig into it too deeply, but the smattering I heard, I'm a sucker for that kind of voice.
Yeah, she has a really, really good voice. I think that's what I was trying to say earlier is that I think she tries to put her vocals more out there than Land of Talk does. Like Land of Talk kind of lets the atmospheric instrumentation do the talking, and she's very much a vocalist. Billy, you want to give us the rundown on which metalcore act is coming back this
so this week it's Misery Signals is back with their first album in 7 years and first album with the original lineup in 16 years.
Holy shit.
That's a good sign.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, Jesus.
Album's called Ultraviolet. I don't have a lot to say about it because it's a super solid metalcore album, but when it's a super solid metalcore album, really what more is there to say? I mean, if you listen to Misery Signals back in middle and high school like we did, it's kind of where they picked up right where they left off kind of deal. They were huge in the metalcore scene back then, and I think that just kind of shows that they can still do it and hang in there with all the new guys as well.
Yeah, I think it was a solid choice in keeping the record super short. It's only 34 minutes. Like, I don't think you really need to do all that much more. I liked most everything on here. I thought the mixing kind of sucked.
Dude, the production is terrible.
It's so inconsistent. Like some songs, the drums sound really, really killer. Other times the guitars are super loud and like changes within the same song. And it's funny that I think the opener or maybe one of the first tracks, The Tempest, there's like clean vocals. They're mixed so low that you can barely tell that they're even there.
Yeah. I don't know what was going on. It just sounds like, cause that's something like when you listen to like metal and metalcore, like production is half of the listening experience when you listen to that kind of genre, because you want it to kind of just like, you want to be able to feel it. Like you want to feel that like really needly kick, like kind of punching the chest, and the bass just kind of drive it. And like this is doing so flat.
You guys being unfair. It drops out abruptly, but it also comes back abruptly, which I chalk that up to dynamics.
That's probably my biggest complaint. It's funny, I don't know if you would agree, but there's a song called Redemption Key that has like an extended clean vocal passage.
Mm-hmm.
Combined with the like very low budget production, the vocals are giving me like early Coheed vibes, like before Claudio was like really, really
yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but It's just kind of what I was reminded of. But yeah, I think it's a pretty brutal record, and it's really not much commitment. So I can't not recommend you listen to it.
Yeah, and so something that's like, so this is just something to appreciate, despite like the terrible production, the fact that they were away for so long and could come back with something that is so reminiscent of their sound, is the opposite of what I can say for what I was hoping to be my album of the week, which is another metalcore band called In Heart's Wake. And I was really excited for this album. I mean, I should have known just looking at the cover of the album leading up to it. Probably wasn't going to be all that great.
Oh.
It's one of those like kind of like preachy albums that's like so overt about like how we're destroying the planet and destroying ourselves and society. And the cover is of an artistic depiction of all the things that we're doing wrong. And then it's a metalcore album that opens up with this like 90s like UK breakbeat drum beat with these like glitchy overcompressed vocals about how we're in a crisis. And then it leads into a song called Worldwide Suicide that just like continues this awful trend of like breakbeat drums. And it was cringeworthy. And then
the breakbeatness of those beats was the main thing that was drawing me in. I like weird kind of amalgam of those put into that context.
If you want to like go play like Need for Speed and watch The Matrix at the same time, I guess that could work.
What else would you do with this?
But like, and then the clean vocals are just cringy and awful, and it was just, I couldn't believe that for having put out 2 really solid albums in the past to come in with this. It was just brutal to listen to and kind of ruined my whole week and threw me into a spiral of what I was going to pick. So that's where we're at.
So thanks, Misery Signals, for pulling it together and not taking a ham-fisted approach at a topic that literally everyone has touched on for probably 10 years now.
Yeah.
So, what a fun little tidbit about me. Fun fact. So I'm looking at Misery Signals discography on Spotify, just kind of see what their old records were. I totally loved Misery Signals. Mirrors came out in 2006. Back when MySpace was a thing, you could put a song on your profile to kind of autoplay when people visited your page. Totally remembered putting a Misery Signals track on there. And they messaged me and were like, "Hey, thanks for putting our track on your MySpace." That's
no way.
Yeah, totally fucking
That's so cool.
That is weird. Full circle. So, nothing ever that cool has happened to me again. So that's as far as I'm going to get.
What are you talking about? We've had a number of artists just notice that we tagged them.
Just shut up, Paul.
That's the coolest.
That's the coolest artists that are like valid now.
Hey man, Misery Signals is revalid. They've validated themselves again. If you're curious about the singles and albums we talked about today and the ones we didn't, there will be a playlist up on the site containing all the singles and the best tracks from this week's albums. That site, if you didn't catch it before, is bliss.house, bliss.haus. Please check out the playlist that's going to go along with this episode. There is the new Cardi B track in there called WAP, which is a bit of a fire starter in parts of the world. The new Action Bronson track's on there. It's okay. The new Bon Iver track's on there. It's okay. And Billy put some good things on there as well. But yeah, check us out on all the places podcasts are listened to, like, subscribe, follow, etc. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And that site is bliss.house, bliss.haus. And the last thing before we go is I appreciate you guys showing up, as always.
I appreciate you showing up, as always, too.
You think we could start an ASMR channel?